My name is Davis, and I play the character Sid on Broken Quest. Broken Quest, I would describe to somebody as a fantasy-themed comedy cartoon aimed at adults, because I think that these sort of like adult-oriented cartoons have shown up recently, so like your Family Guys, your Archers, or things like that. I think that if you are a fan of that kind of humor, this is your kind of humor. It's a little more mature than maybe Rugrats. I can't exactly explain it, but it's sort of like Broken Quest is like the Factory Recall version of like an epic fantasy quest. This one just like had some kinks things, so you send it back. So that's like kind of what it is. It's like an epic quest, but not in the way that you're expecting, and like kind of silly and nonsensical, but fantastic. Sid is, if Jonric is like the adventurer, like the warrior, Sid is like he's like a schemer, a mastermind. He, instead of like getting hands-on and doing any of his own deeds, he just like sits back in his castle and like kind of masterminds everything. He has like his servants, he sends Yorks out to do stuff. I don't even imagine that he has any combat prowess, like at all. He's sort of like a portly fellow, I imagine. He doesn't have much skill, but he does have like resources, which, you know, works in his favor. He's like I imagine him as like the fantasy equivalent of a trust fund kid who just has like daddy's money and like nothing else to do and is bored, so he just does all these things. Sid is similar to me in physically, he's a little similar, and like scarily so. We both have like facial hair or like a beard and long hair. He's just a bit rounder than I think that I am. But when I saw it, I was like, I was worried that this is how I'm like perceived by other people. As for sort of personality-wise, I hope I'm not too much like Sid. I don't think that I'm super clever, but I feel like I'm sort of clever, and I hope that I'm not wrong about that. And also, I don't have any grudges against people from my childhood that I feel like I need to like really, really act out on. Yeah, Sid is different from me in that I am a fairly pleasant, I think, nice person, and Sid is not. He's like, he is a mean guy. He's a villain, and I would not do some of the things he does, like set up really convoluted traps to I'm more of like, if I'm gonna kill somebody, not that I would kill somebody, but I would I would just like shoot him or something, I don't know. There's a lot easier ways to do it, I think, than like all these crazy traps and schemes. It's fantastic pretending to be a character living in a fantasy world, because everything is like so much cooler and also so much more ridiculous, so you get to just kind of go big with stuff and cut loose and have fun with it. I mean, I have a magic mirror that I can use to spy on fat chicks bathing. Like, I don't know, that's pretty awesome. I wish I could have that. I would use it for other things, obviously, but I would, you know, it would be cool.
That's great.
No, I wouldn't. I would use it for fat chicks. I generally feel pretty comfortable voice acting. I mean, because as part of the Warp Zone, we have like a series called Lines vs. Horde, which is based off the old Mac PC commercials, but with like World of Warcraft characters. So I wrote and voice acted those. We had a short-lived Star Wars thing. So I've done voice acting before. It's different when you don't write it and it's somebody else's project, because you're like really nervous. You want to make sure you make them happy. Whereas otherwise, if I do it and it's my own thing and I mess it up, like, who cares? But when it's a big project, so it's like, it's exciting and really, really fun, but there's also a little bit, you get butterflies and you're a little nervous. But that adds to the excitement. Well, when I was coming up with a voice for Sid, I had a lot of input from Husky and Glasgow Phillips, and then even like Jesse, who I recorded most of my lines with and stuff. And it was fun, his character was like largely just by his actions and just the words he said was like kind of there, and so then it was just a matter of finding the right sort of like ridiculous voice to put with it to like make it all come together. It was a pretty fun process. You just kind of do different things and you try out what sounds good and what you want to go with. And what we came up with was just kind of like a sort of exaggerated, like fantasy bro version of like my own voice, which is just like, it's fun to do. And I think just from hearing him say any line of dialogue, you sort of understand things about like the kind of person he is. Like he's just like ridiculous and super like into himself and thinks he's all this stuff. And you can just get that from his like, the way it's spoken. It was terrible working with everyone involved. They are all egomaniacs. No, actually, I'm good friends with all the main cast. And we've done other projects before, so this was just a fun. I don't think we'd ever done a big voice acting thing, but it was great. I worked closest with Jesse because we record our lines together and we were sort of back and forth. But I mean, it was fun talking to like Husky and Rowan and all those people when we were reading scripts and coming up with stuff. It was a fun experience. Glasgow Phillips is the executive producer of Broken Quest, and what is it like working with him? It is all kinds of different emotions at once. No, he is there for our readings, for all the different stuff. He helped me come up with the voice with Sid and kind of coaches you through it. He's super enthusiastic, very fun to work with. Yeah, he's a cool guy. Seanbaby is a guy with a fantastic mohawk, but he writes for Cracked and online and for magazines and stuff, and he was a writer of Broken Quest, and I enjoyed his humor thoroughly. I actually was excited when we came in for reading the scripts because I got to see what he came up with next, and it's generally, I think the Riddle Bear is like my favorite thing ever, a being of pure riddle. I don't know, that got me excited. So he's a cool dude too. I am most excited about all the future opportunities. This is gonna open several doors, I think, for TV shows, video games. No, I'm just excited that it's coming out because it's a really cool concept, and it's a bigger thing than like me as a content creator has ever done. So it's exciting, and it has a lot of like great people behind it, writing, acting, everything. It's a high value in production, and I'm excited to see it, but also kind of add it to my portfolio of things that I've done. All right, guys, thanks for watching my interview. If you want to check out the show, you can do so on Polaris. The links are down below. It will be live as soon as the video is, so you definitely have to check it out. And until then, have a great day, morning, night, or whatever time it is where you are. Though my interview was clearly the best, there are plenty of others to watch, so check them out here. I would recommend Jesse, because he plays York's my faithful companion and butler. Maybe check out Huskies, I'm sure it's pretty good, or Dodgers or Rose. Yeah, so just click any of the links and it will take you there, or just rewatch mine again and then call it a day. That's acceptable too. Okay, I'm gonna go.